Damning report says lawmakers failing the people. National government signs agreement with ABG. And Oil Search renews sponsorship for the Orchids.
This is National EMTV News with Dennis Orere.
Good evening and welcome. This is Thursday's news. Transparency International (PNG) has released a scathing report accusing MPs of failing to do their jobs as lawmakers to ensure systems of government are in place to serve the people. In a report called the National Integrity System Assessment, TIPNG said Parliament has not used its full capacity as the primary law-making body and the executive arm continues to dominate the functions of the House. One of the key findings is that while PNG has strong laws, the weak enforcement has affected integrity.
It is a broad outlook at the systems that govern Papua New Guinea. However, the outlook is not all that good. In short, the report echoes what the public have been saying for the last decade, that systems of government have been severely weakened and that the enforcement of laws is weak. The launch of the National Integrity Systems Assessment and panel discussions today is a step towards addressing these issues.
The challenge, as always, is in the application and the enforcement of these standards so they become embedded as the way our society behaves, embedded in our systems, embedded in our institutions, embedded in us. This is our biggest challenge, and it will require courageous and committed leadership and a longer-term vision of what PNG should look like.
The 124-page report draws on data collected by TIPNG from 14 sectors of the society, including law enforcement, the three arms of the government and the media. The report highlights that while Papua New Guinea has good laws, there is a noticeable gap between the laws themselves and the enforcement. It also highlights that a lack of transparency and effective accountability mechanisms have affected separation of powers.
Since the last assessment, we've also seen that a number of the integrity pillars have been weakened or have not been strengthened. We've seen maybe some of the work that's been done in the executive also impact the work of the other pillars. And we see that there seems to be more of the political pressures on the pillars as opposed to maybe the legislative or the capacity issues. And that's one of the key trends in the analysis that we've done. But we have more detailed analysis in the report as well.
The capacity of law enforcement agencies to address issues of corruption was also discussed. Funding issues have been identified as one of the challenges agencies are faced with in addressing corruption, and one of these agencies is the National Fraud and Anti-Corruption Directorate.
Biggest challenge that we have now is funding, resources, logistics. Without that, you can't do any investigations. And we are not making a lot of arrests, and that also leads to we are not making any impact in fighting corruption in the country.
Prime Minister James Marape was supportive of this report. He says the report is useful as strong outcomes can be achieved through strong leadership and strong legal structures that are independent and transparent. And the government will continue to advocate on transparent parliament process, women in parliament, free and fair elections, media freedom, ICAC and Whistleblowers Act.
The role of government is to establish legislative and policy guidance that allows every organization, communities, groups, and individuals to respond and build our own accountability systems. Accountabilities at different levels are what keeps all of us on track.
Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
The national government has signed an MOA with the autonomous Bougainville government to dispense constitutional requirements for the ABG to attain full powers over its affairs. This is seen as an important step forward for the region as it prepares for the first joint consultation of the post-referendum period.
The signing is seen as an achievement in its own as Bougainville continues its journey post-referendum. The agreement now dispels constitutional requirements and gives the autonomous government powers to handle its own affairs and create policies of governance.
It now gives Bougainville government the opportunity to construct legislation policies within the ambit
of the overarching PNG constitution, but in the special arrangement of the autonomy they have to ensure they carve out their own future going forward.
The agreement is captured under the 2001 Bougainville Peace Agreement. However, past governments have failed to put pen to paper, and today's signing in itself is seen as an opportunity for the autonomous government as it prepares for the first joint consultation process in Kokopo next week.
The drawdown of powers and functions, we should do away with it because it's stipulated in the peace agreement. It's not a new thing. So I'm so thankful, Honorable Prime Minister, for your commitment in making those decisions that could pave way for us to implement the autonomous package.
And when we transfer powers and functions to Bougainville, it will mean that it's an important precursor to functional autonomy and regional independence so that you could exercise powers within your means.
Going forward, the national government will announce the specific powers that will be given to the ABG in this year's JSP meeting in Enga province. But for now, the Prime Minister says he remains optimistic about the future of Bougainville.
And the future, for me, I look into the future with optimism. Papua New Guineans, Bougainvilleans must not be fearful of the future. We must all step together into the future knowing that uncertainty remains and that we are sisters and brothers, Melanesian sisters and brothers, today in one sovereign territory of Papua New Guinea. And this is a requirement of the peace process that we must fully detach what needs to be detached to Bougainville and pass back to Bougainville.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
The Education and Training Sectoral Committee met this morning to discuss the costs of educating a child in PNG. The meeting was purposefully to generate and collect information, interventions and practical suggestions of education financing that benefits the Department of Education. Suggestions in using the latest technology to assist in teaching and learning amidst the global pandemic and natural disasters that continue to affect education were raised. The members were also vocal about the inclusion of students with disability in formal education and the costs attached with it, including other concerns. A representative from Save the Children says education costs everything and they need to take a holistic approach to addressing its issues. The chairman of the meeting, Wesley Lakau, says the yearly budget is not enough to cover all needs of schools in the country.
Funding has remained stagnant. There's not been any increase. 486 million appropriate. That's well below the previous years. And this is the kind of scenario we're faced with.
You're watching National EMTV News. More of the day's stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Bogia district in Madang has recently discovered leprosy cases after a number of incidents were presented to the referral clinic. This is Controller Stephen Kumai told MTV more than 200 cases were detected. Kumai says his team identified 4 areas where the number of leprosy cases were present.
In Bogia alone, we got close to, you played him, Eddie wanted me, it's about 92 in one area only, one health facility area only, it is Ariangon. Our sub-health center in Igos, we have 52. Bunipas, we have 60. Daigul, we have about 45. So it's well over 200. Well over 200. So, leprosy may just pop up again. We thought we eliminate leprosy with Depson, but leprosy come up can go big plateau. At the moment now, we work more programs, we go out, we find more TB cases. Leprosy cases. Because we see more reports. All money coming inside, people check him. 10 already, so time 10 and big number. So time people go through all get a list. We have 92 in one area, 52 in the other, 60 in the so that number here I'm just come a plenty. We have reports that through and we got leprosy lot some place. People are looking all cases now people work the program, we play yet, people go out. Reach out long also. I think next week program, ol Bosman blomi, ol Oasis blomi, program manager, ol support mi pla lo this all program, so me pla go out lo find more leprosy cases only.
The decline in diarrhea and typhoid cases in the Goripemoka community in Goroka has been attributed to the Cleanpela Community Project. In the past, locals failed to observe basic health, hygiene and sanitation. However, through this project, the community has seen changes. Mothers in the community say their children have not been getting sick as often as they used to.
The construction of proper toilets, rubbish pits and the use of tippy taps are amongst the key things stressed on in the Cleanpela Community projects. For the Goripemoka community in the Minamalo LLG in Goroka, they are a model community. After being trained, the community contributed, putting together resources to build their new permanent toilets, taking a step further to tiling the new facilities.
So now you buy the blue toilet, you got tiles too. And more same so, me plan hammer master to. The
community effort was headed by 5 community leaders who pushed the project, digging the toilet pits and making sure those who needed help were assisted. A single mother said through this help, she was able to have her toilet built.
Program blomi playeti come inside now mi mama straight also meeting all brata blomi missing all mama so all the abrusimi but all not abrusimi. All give me
The Cleanpela Community Project is being conducted under the European Union, UNICEF and the PNG government's WASH program. In the Goroka district, the project is being implemented by Oxfam and local NGO Touching the Untouchables. The Goripemoka community is the 110th out of 200 communities in Goroka to be declared and certified as an open defecation-free community.
Community me healthy, like all teen what's up, me put himself pitol lo me plan. Me looking was good living man good life, so you may make him start making flower beds.
Today, the community is much cleaner and health and hygiene practices are being observed. Women in the community said through this project, their children have not been getting sick as often as they used to.
Before me plus sick, now me plan more sick. So now I'm all stuff good.
Now, all pingy do me saximol going go kalausi here. Now, all pingy to now more stable, no more miximol go lausi.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Goroka.
The protest by Hela landowners at the Petroleum Department office in central Waigani over outstanding payments continued today. 4 of the landowner representatives were allowed inside the office to be informed of the cause of delay while the rest waited outside. After a long wait, the frustrated landowners were still not satisfied with the response given. In anticipation of receiving some welcoming news regarding outstanding payments, or at least for the Petroleum Department authorities to address them and meet their demands, the Hela landowners have yet been told there are issues of which authority that will be able to make the payments due to them. They were informed by their representatives that went into the Petroleum Department office that the powers of enabling the payments due to the landowners had been transferred to the National Executive Council, and so it is difficult for the department to act upon it at this time. They were also informed that the Departments of National Planning, Finance and Treasury will be the ones to actually deal with the outstanding payments. This caused confusion among the landowners and went into deep discussion to come to an agreement on the next course of action. They are now demanding Prime Minister James Marape and Minister responsible Karenga Kua to address them at Sajongai Stadium next week, as a similar arrangement was made last year where the Prime Minister addressed the landowners regarding the outstanding payments.
4 representatives went inside and they were told that, oh no, DP, we have no powers, it's NEC. So it's a blame game here, so we are confused. Therefore, our next course of action is our appeal to Honorable James Marape. You are a Hela Guinea. You are the NC chairman of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Philip Undalu, you are a Hela governor, the prime minister of the province, PSC chairman. Come on, your people are dying. Please, James Marape, Philip Undalu, come to St. John Guy Stadium as you come last time.
Mibla lagi ma NEC representative, Mibla lagi ma PC representative, minister, Ogata, come down. This time big blah issue. So come down, low level blah na tuk na Mibla yit ba harem na satisfy na golo plus.
The landowners are demanding outstanding payments under Memorandum of Agreement in Kokopo in 2009, as well as infrastructure development grants, ministerial payments, and business development grants. Attempts by EMTV News to get comments from the Petroleum Department and Minister on the concerns raised have been unsuccessful. In a news conference today, Namatanai MP Walter Schnobelt said there will be a police investigation into the Lihir royalty funds. Schnobelt alleges misuse of over 400 million kina of Lihir royalty money dating back to 2007 by the New Ireland provincial government. However, in a news statement recently, New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan suspended Schnobelt and KVN MP Ian Lingstaki, claiming the two open members failed to attend meetings of the Provincial Assembly to help develop policies for the betterment of New Irelanders, and also explained the distribution of royalties.
After exchange of words in the province over payments relating to royalty benefits from Lir gold mine to his district, the Namatanai MP is now pursuing this as a criminal matter with police. Walter Schnobelt is questioning funds paid to New Ireland provincial government under arrangements since 2007, claiming misuse. He claims the provincial government receives about 50% of the payment, in which 20% belongs to the people of Namatanai.
Namatanai district since 2007 to date have not received one toya of that money. But the fact remains, there is 400 million kina has gone missing in that time. I've spent 4 years asking to get some answers, and now I'm at the end of asking. I've exhausted all avenues already. So I can't continue asking because I'm not getting an answer now. So now I've got to take it to the next level, to conduct now a criminal investigation to find out exactly where the money belonging to my people of Namatanai has gone to.
He is calling on his relative Sir Julius Chan to clarify where the funds have been going in the last 14 years. But in a media statement released early this month, the use of royalty funds were outlined. Despite the clarification by the provincial government, Schnobelt says Sir Julius should come out clear on this and inform the people of Namatanai on the royalty payments.
And ask the provincial government to indicate, or to at least put it in writing, and explain to both KVN district and Namatanai district and its people where the 400 kina money that you've received has actually gone to, and which project that you actually funded. I'm questioning this because if you go through MRA or the finance department, you will not find any acquittal report from the New Ireland provincial government based on the Lihir royalty.
The Namatanai MP, along with colleague KVN MP Ian Lingstaki, were suspended from the Provincial House of Assembly after missing 3 consecutive meetings. However, Schnobelt insists the meetings were held during National Parliament sittings.
Those meetings that I were absent from were meetings that I was attending Parliament sessions. And the organic law, section 15.3, is very clear that you cannot conduct a provincial assembly meeting at the same time a national parliament session that is on. So, have I actually been in breach? Someone need to ask that to Sir J. What law is he using if it's not the organic law?
But the Provincial Assembly denied this in a statement released stating the sittings were never held at the same time as the National Parliament sittings. Suli in National EMTV News.
The 2021 University of Papua New Guinea pageant was officially launched yesterday. UPNG Student Representative Council President Bradley Yombon Kopio says the pageant will give them an opportunity to raise issues affecting them and the nation as a whole.
The 2021 UPNG pageant was officially launched by the chairlady of Miss PNG Pacific Islands pageant, Molly O'Rourke, who also declared the pageant applications open. With the theme Promoting Authentic Beauty and Intellect, UPNG SRC President Bradley Yombon Kopio encouraged students to apply. He says this platform will be used to drive change as well as promoting the different cultures and customs of the country. UPNG's acting Vice Chancellor Betty Lovai shared similar sentiments and urged students to use this platform to contribute to nation building.
This particular platform also gives opportunity for youth voice to raise awareness on issues of concern in society, gender-based violence, climate change, there's many other issues.
Students and staff of UPNG gathered to witness the event with permission given by the controller David Manning to allow for this gathering. The pageant will include contestants representing the 5 schools in the institution, including the School of Law, Business, Humanities, Medicine, and Science. The pageant also aims to promote women's involvement in the society.
And it gives women that opportunity, young women that opportunity, look at bigger issues in society and how those big issues affect you as an individual, affect you as women in this country, and affect your communities. So you're trying to find your space. I go back to that statement I made. Find your space in this country so you can contribute meaningfully to the welfare of this country.
It has been almost 6 years since their last pageant, which was held in 2015, and they are eager to take on a new challenge by creating a platform for them to raise awareness and concerns on issues affecting them and the nation as a whole.
And she or he can be an advocate for a lot of the social problems, social injustice, and whatever is happening around the country to try and advocate for using this platform. So this is not just a beauty pageant. It is a vehicle to drive change in whatever little way we can. So
Molly O'Rourke says the winner of this pageant will be able to contest in the Miss PNG pageant. Gertrude Gabin, National, EMTV News.
And now looking at the NESFund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2775 $0.3542 Australian dollars, $0.2215 euro, and 29.80 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa and copper closed higher, palm oil and copper closed higher, crude oil is trading lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 681.50 points lower, the ASX 200 is trading at 62.07 points lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 70.74 points lower.
Tukai Sports.
Search have rolled over their 2020 sponsorship and added it onto this year's sponsorship, all in support of the PNG Orchids, the country's national women's rugby league team. With the World Cup this year, the sponsorship renewal will help with preparing the women for the World Cup.
The Women's National Rugby League team can look forward to their preparations for the Rugby League World Cup in England in November. Rest assured, knowing their naming rights sponsor Oil Search has continued its sponsorship. Chairman of Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League Sandy Saka says that the funding support will also cover grassroots programs and game development programs to further improve women's rugby league in the country.
So the funding that is provided to the Oil Search Orchids brand is actually used to support the women's game at the grassroots level up to the top. So while it may say Oil Search PNG Orchids, it is the Maki brand that supports all of the women's games. So part of the funding is also used to support the grassroots games in terms of coaching, training, the tournaments, the pathway program investment. Part of that funding is used for that because you can't have the Orchids without the grassroots pathway.
The Orchids took part in the 2017 Rugby League World Cup and in 2019 made history by defeating the English women's team in PNG. Oil Search country manager Leon Baskin says the sponsorship is coupled with last year's component, bringing in much needed support.
Due to the global pandemic last year, we were not able to sponsor last year because of the COVID challenges, a number of international fixtures. So this year we are committed to roll over last year's sponsorship to this year, including this year's sponsorship. The annual sponsorship value is about 700,000 kina. So obviously we rolled last year to this year to support it, so that's about 1.4. Obviously we all know that our company and the industry went through a really tough time last year because of COVID. Because of the challenges, we face a lot of challenges ourselves in terms of our business, but importantly, we've not run away from this commitment.
Stanley Hondina, CEO of PNG RFL, thanked Oil Search for including last year's sponsorship component as well.
Not many companies do that. We got a lot of cuts last year from sponsors and partners, others. Oil Search rolling over the full sponsorship of the 2020 year to 2021 is a milestone achievement, and it truly reflects on Oil Search as a company.
Oil Search is also looking into using Women's Rugby League as an avenue to promote women empowerment and advocate against gender-based violence.
Change comes in different ways, and this is one way that we contribute to that change and shifting paradigms and mindsets about the value that women bring to the country and as equal partners in development. So sport is a very, very important way and a platform that we can drive change in mindsets.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
The Oil Search PNG Orchids have also named their new chairlady for the next 3 years, a former athlete in VAR. She works for Oil Search. Ms. Okaro Yogi is the new chairlady of the Oil Search PNG Orchids Executive Management Board and was appointed on recommendations from Oil Search.
The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League and Oil Search today made the announcement for the new Orchids chairlady for the next 3 years. A former athlete that represented Papua New Guinea, she is also an employee of Oil Search.
Ms. Okari is she works with Oil Search as a government affairs advisor with Oil Search. She herself is she comes from a good sporting background. She's of sporting pedigree. She's from Eastern Islands province, but you'll be surprised with this. She's represented Papua New Guinea in canoeing at the Pacific Games. So numerous Pacific Games. So she has that wealth of experience in sports, but she also brings to a great business and corporate management background that would add value to the board.
Ms. Okara Yogi is looking forward to lead the Orchids board and says sports can be a confidence builder for women.
As an athlete myself, I know the challenges and the commitment and the values that the sport can instill in you as a person, as a woman, as a mother. I am also a mother, an athlete, a career woman. So having that to deal with it and to manage and to bring the discipline and the focus into you as a person, and especially in Papua New Guinea, women in Papua New Guinea, and seeing that coming and bringing that, I hope to bring that value and the experience to our girls, the PNG Orchids.
She is adamant that the national women's team, the Oil Search PNG Orchids, can improve in their current ranking on the International Rugby League standings.
Yes, we are ranked, as mentioned, we are ranked 4th, and we can do better. Papua New Guineans have natural talent, and I believe in that. And so having that belief and that, and with the natural talent that they have, we can push them to get, not only fourth, maybe we can get to the World Cup and be better. So.
Chairman of PNG RFL, Sandy Saka, says her appointment is for 3 years and soon more members of the board will join her.
She's the chair, she's been appointed. We'll be constituting a board. If you were aware, PNG RFL put out adverts for people to apply to join the board. So we will be working with her as the chair. We'll be identifying the board members that will work with her going forward, and the PNG RFL board will ratify that at its next meeting in 2 weeks' time. So the chair is appointed, and then the committee, she can take charge of the Orchids with their board working to the east.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
That story wraps up Trukai Sports, the weather report after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports. This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Regional weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region: Port Moresby mostly fine, though partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Daru few showers and cloudy periods. Kerema partly cloudy with evening showers. Alotau partly sunny and fine. Popondetta brief showers and partly cloudy. In the Momase region, Lae partly cloudy with evening showers. Medang mostly fine, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Wewak and Vanimo fine, partly cloudy with brief showers. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Kavieng mostly fine. Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka partly sunny and fine. To the Highlands region, Mount Hagen a few showers. Goroka and Kundiawa partly cloudy with possible evening drizzles. Mendi and Wabeg partly cloudy with brief showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Thursday, the 13th of May 2021. Pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.